How's it going, everybody? Timcast here with an update for Tuesday, November 20th, 2012. And over the past week, Israel has been engaging in Operation Pillar of Defense, a military action they say is aimed at stopping rocket fire from Hamas entering civilian areas in Israel. So far, there have been 4 Israeli civilians who have died and 135 deaths in Gaza. Now, the conflict between Palestine and Israel goes back farther than most people even realize, but the most interesting aspect of the current situation is how the internet is being used both as a method of communication and as direct means of attack in the conflict. One of the first things we saw in line with this conflict was the Israeli Defense Force Twitter account live tweeting the military actions they were engaging in, and then tweeting to Hamas that they should keep their heads underground, and then Hamas tweeting back that they're going to continue to attack. They both were then live tweeting the actions to each other, essentially. The use of Twitter is really interesting, especially when we're seeing victims on both sides tweeting about their experiences, but Twitter isn't the whole story. Since the beginning of the operation, we're seeing hackers and hacker groups take action. Almost immediately, Anonymous declared the start of Operation Israel, which is aimed mostly at defending the Palestinian civilians that are caught in the conflict. They started a string of denial of service attacks and even began defacing Israeli websites, both privately owned and government-run. Now, while DDoS attacks only take down websites temporarily, some Anons even wiped Israeli website databases, including the Bank of Jerusalem. All in all, over 700 websites have been hacked, defaced, or DDoS'd in some way. Now, the Israeli government is claiming that the attacks have almost no effect and that only one website was affected for about 10 minutes. But this is total BS, because I've actually been monitoring what's been going on and I've seen several websites taken down. And other than that, the IDF is actually running a Cloudflare DDoS protection service on the front of the website. So when you first go there, you can see that they've got the shield up. Aside from going after websites, Anonymous also released the personal information of 5,000 Israeli officials. And they even leaked the information of 3,000 pro-Israeli donors. Now, many people have been critical of Anonymous for siding with Palestine in the issue because there are two sides to this, but it seems the reason they're doing it is that Israel has a disproportionate amount of power in the situation, and we're seeing way more civilian deaths in Gaza than we are seeing in Israel. However, Anonymous has also stated they do not side with Hamas, and violence is bad and needs to stop. Another prominent hacker group that we're seeing shine in this situation is Telecomics. Now, many people aren't familiar with Telecomics, but what they do is essentially make sure the lines of data keep flowing. Telecomics set up a public document that shows people how to connect to the internet or how to communicate should the lines be cut by Israel. They provided information on dial-up lines and how to connect to said dial-up lines should the necessity arise. And the last little tidbit we have comes from Israeli politician Danny Danon, who called for people to sign a petition urging Israel to cut electricity in Gaza during the conflict. Now, almost immediately, his website was hacked and defaced. You couldn't even find the petition, and the group claiming responsibility for it goes by the name Team Kuwait. Now, this conflict is ongoing, and we keep hearing about the possibility of a ceasefire, but it seems like that keeps falling apart. So far, over 1,000 rockets have been fired out of Gaza into civilian areas, but most of them have been deflected by the Iron Dome defense system. Israel's engaged in over 1,000 attacks as well, ranging from airstrikes to coastal strikes, and even amassed tanks on the border of Gaza. So I'll try and keep you updated on the situation as much as possible. Stay tuned to the news, follow it on Twitter, follow me on Twitter @Timcast, subscribe to my channel for more videos, stay tuned, and thanks for tuning in, everybody.